So the Biden administration here today, this morning, actually has announced that they have started the refilling process of when the controversial, with some people say it helped, some people say it didn't, of refilling the strategic oil reserves. Yeah, so take a look here. Biden administration starts the process to refill emergency oil reserves. And the Energy Department on Tuesday announced it will buy up to 3 million barrels of oil to begin replenishing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve after drawing out stores amid energy crunches last year. The administration is soliciting crude oil to refill one of the SPR's four major Gulf Coast sites, Big Hill in Texas. DOE is committed to executing an SPR replenishment strategy that provides the best deal for taxpayers, aiming to replenish crude at a lower price than the average of what was about $95 per barrel when they sold it, or what they paid for it back in 2022. So this is what they paid for barrels of oil. Their average, I guess, it was $95 per barrel. And just to see what here it is here now, the average price of oil right now for WTI crude is about $70 a barrel, and Brent crude is about $75 a barrel here to see the price of oil right now. So the price of oil is less money right now. So it does look like a good deal right now, but it will take a long time to fill up the our strategic oil reserves. It will take a long, long time. This will be a long process. So we can see how long it takes, and they don't need to refill it all right now. If prices go back up, they can just stop refilling and wait again. You can also see natural gas prices here have gone down significantly. Significantly. This is the chart of natural gas here over the course of 1 year. And wow, you can really see the price of natural gas has come down significantly. Yeah, a lot. So the price of natural gas was about $8 a unit at the high, actually $9 a unit at the high, and is now down to $2.30. Wow, what a difference. So if you pay for natural gas to heat your home or anything like that, heat your pool, or anything along those lines, make sure that call up your gas company and say, hey, I want to renegotiate my rate, or maybe switch companies. Make sure you're on the lowest rate here, because you can see here on a 1 year rate, it has come down dramatically. Now these things can flip on very, very quickly. So it might be a good time to lock in a rate or something along those lines. Of course, this isn't financial advice, but you can just see the chart here. It's pretty significant how much it's come down here on a 1 year chart. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warns of a catastrophic default for the United States, saying, quote, "Time is running out," as we get closer and closer to the potential default as early as June 1st. And here today, Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, warns that work requirements are a red line in the debt ceiling talks. Here's what he has to say here today. Take a listen.
Would you say that President Biden is now negotiating on the debt limit?
Well, let's just look at the facts. We have a meeting tomorrow with the four leaders talking about the debt ceiling. We'll have staff in a room talking about the debt ceiling. I don't know what he calls that, but everybody else would call it negotiating.
Do you have, just now that these meetings are broken up for the day, or close to, do you have any update how you feel about negotiating?
Look, if we were sitting in the room that we were today and it was February, I'd feel good about it. We just had our secretary say June 1st we could run out of money. We only have so many days left. The president decided to wait 100 days before he would negotiate. He treated this the same way he treated the border. He wanted to ignore the problem. When I became Speaker, one of the first things I requested is a meeting with the president. And I only got the meeting on February 1st. And I wanted to sit down with him to talk about how could we solve the debt ceiling problem, curve the way we've been spending money, find places we can save for the taxpayers. I mean, who would think if you appropriated COVID money that sat there for 2 years, that you passed a bill that the pandemic is over, that you could pull that money back with savings? What about growing our economy? Instead of watching our energy bills go up and the stock market go down, what about having the stock market go up where retirement accounts go higher, where you have more money in your pocket because your energy costs are less? What about the idea of helping people get back into the workforce because the supply chain will be better, the work requirements, helping people work? All of that I felt would be very positive. I talked to the president about it back then. He wanted to ignore us. And the only body in all of Congress are the Republicans who raised the debt ceiling. And we did it way in advance before Janet Yellen told us when the deadline was, because we didn't want to be here. So no, I don't think we're in a good place. I know we're not. This ignoring the problem, thinking it's going to go away, he could bumble his way just into a default like he did on the border. That's what we didn't want to have happen. So we raised the debt limit. We're protecting. I don't know, maybe his secret plan is to wait till the last minute and pass our bill. I'm okay with that.
What does this meeting tomorrow, what does a successful meeting look like to you? What would need to happen to make you feel a little bit better about it?
They would have to get serious about negotiating. They would have to really talk about where they're going to go. Look, the way the founders designed this whole government, the House takes an action, the Senate takes an action, you go to conference, the president decides he's going to sign it. Unfortunately, only one House has taken action. But it seems to be a continual pattern. When D.C. wanted to decriminalize all the actions, the House took an action, the president said he'd veto it, 170-some Democrats voted against it, and then it passed the Senate against Schumer's beliefs, and the president signed it. When we had a border with Title 42 going to be lifted, they ignored the problem, the House again took action. We are looking for solutions, but we'd really like somebody to work with us instead of against us. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the border.
Yes.
Some members of the conference have expressed support for including border security measures within the debt ceiling bill. Is that something you support?
Look, I think the president, I told him early on, if he finds some other policies that we can put in to make the country safer, make it stronger, I'm more than willing to talk about that. I'm just not sure in the Senate, they haven't passed anything, but I can't say that. They did name March Maine Maple Syrup Month. So if Schumer needs to put that into, I'll look the other way.
Now, for the other side of the story, here's what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has to say from the Democrats. Take a listen here.
Majority Leader.
Yesterday afternoon, Treasury Secretary Yellen released a letter updating congressional leadership about their latest forecast regarding default. The Treasury's projection remains unchanged. The federal government is in danger of failing to pay its bills as soon as June 1st. Since last week's White House meeting, Democrat staff have in good faith held conversations with our Republican counterparts about the nation's fiscal future. The talks are separate but simultaneous to our responsibility to avoid default. Democrats will not use the threat of default to get what we want. Nobody should use default as a hostage. Nobody should say, unless you do this, then we default, because the consequences of default would be devastating for ordinary Americans. We talked through the weekend, we talked yesterday, and both sides, the staffs that is, are talking today as well. And later this afternoon, I will join President Biden, House Leader Jeffries, Speaker McCarthy, Leader McConnell at the White House. Democrats welcome a debate about this year's budget. For decades, both parties have regularly worked out their differences about spending and revenues throughout the appropriations process. That's what's happening right now, while we separately but simultaneously work to avoid default. And again, let me just repeat this because it's so important as we get closer to June 1st. Nobody should use default as a hostage. Nobody should say, unless you do this, then we default. because the consequences will be devastating for America. Default would almost certainly create another recession, kill more than 8 million jobs, send costs soaring on everything from mortgages, car payments, student loans, small business loans, and so much more. If you want to own a home one day, default would take that dream and run it through the shredder. If you want to protect your 401k, default would rob you of your livelihood. If you want to grow your small business or borrow student loans, or if you benefit from Social Security or Medicare, a default would be a nightmare scenario. We all know these things are fast approaching the closer we get to June 1st. Congress cannot, under any circumstances, fail its obligation to protect the full faith and credit of the United States. It is one of our highest obligations.
So you can let me know your thoughts if you think they're getting close to a deal or not. We'll see. I guess this is how they negotiate in Congress. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and then the bell icon afterwards so you don't miss out on any new videos here on our YouTube channel. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you should watch next. Be aware because banks could start freezing your cash withdrawals. And Russian President Putin is testing the U.S. defenses in this video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.